Jane, and we are on our Facebook Live. We have another incredible show this evening. We have my good friend, Brian Auld from the Rays here. Before we get started, I just want to talk a little bit about COVID-19. We are starting to see an uptick in those cases. So please, please, please ensure that you're wearing your mask. You can have your Tampa Bay Rays mask, Raise Up, which is very, very important in this time right now where we're on our way to the World Series. But make sure that you're taking those simple steps to avoid contracting COVID-19. It is critically important. We have come so far in our journey of getting back up on our feet economically and ensuring everyone in our community is safe. So please do your part. It's very important. All right, Brian, before I introduce you, I got to tell you, I have my Rays jersey that you guys so kindly gave to me, but I didn't have time to put it on. I'm one meeting after the other, but tonight is a very exciting night, no doubt about it. So let me read, for those of you who don't recall from the last time that Brian was on our Facebook Live, I'll read a little bit about his background because a very, very impressive resume that he has here. 15th season with the Rays. He began when he was 15, and the sixth in his current position as the team president. And his tenure as the team president has brought a renewed focus on the Rays' mission to energize the community through the magic of Rays baseball by redoubling the Rays' commitment to its community and to its employees. And I can say firsthand that I know that commitment that you and the team have in our community. Before joining the Rays, Brian attended Harvard Business School, where he earned his MBA, focusing on managing human capital, marketing, and finance. He was born in Berkeley, California, received a bachelor's degree in economics and a master's degree in education from Stanford University. Unbelievable. Where he also captained the lacrosse team. And he lives with his wife and his three children, his two daughters and his son, over in St. Petersburg. We're trying to lure him over to Tampa, but he loves St. Pete, and I can't blame you for that. So before we get started tonight, when the Rays win, I talked to Mayor Kreisman today. We did a little promotional video for the Tampa Bay food fight, which doesn't sound nearly as exciting when it's virtual as when it's in person. But anyway, it's a fundraiser for Metropolitan Ministries. So I asked him about, the bet with the Houston mayor, and he said he had prepared to send him a broom. So I like that idea. We're just going to sweep it on out of there. But this is such an exciting time. So give us a little background on what the mood is in the clubhouse and how excited the players are.
Well, first of all, let's put a big no jinx on everything that you just said, and everybody at home, knock on wood for us, please, because we got one more game to go before the World Series, and we certainly need to bang that one out. And nobody would be happier than I to see it happen tonight, but we are not there just yet. We are practicing social distancing. The players are in their own bubble. So I can tell you what I've heard about the mood in the clubhouse, but I haven't actually been in there. And that it's absolutely joyful. Some of you may have seen some of the dancing videos from on the field after winning the Yankee series. And I think one of the really special things about this run that we are on is that absolutely everybody is contributing. There's been incredible defensive plays. There's been timely home runs, role players stepping up and doing their part. And so everybody feels like they're a part of it. Everybody's involved. Everybody's congratulating one another, patting each other on the back. And it's just been absolutely extraordinary to watch and be a part of.
It really has. And that sort of defines what a team is about. And we saw that in display with our Tampa Bay Lightning in their Stanley Cup run as well. Everybody contributed when it was necessary, and it is just wonderful to see the same thing from the Rays. You've got there is no one star. Everybody is doing what it takes to win the games, and so that couldn't be more exciting. Now, what do you think? What do you hear about the effect? So in baseball, I don't know if it's different from some of the others in football or in hockey, where it's that close up, close contact, where really everyone says that once the game starts, you really don't notice that there aren't fans out in the stands. So, how about baseball? Is it different, or is it pretty much once the play starts, they are just laser focused on the game, and you're not thinking about the fans being there or the absence of fans?
Yeah, I think you have elements of both. You know, you can't get away from the fact that it's a little strange, but I think we're all dealing with that in our own ways, no matter what we do right now. And certainly, you know, it's at the forefront. You have players wearing masks. You have social distancing, even in the dugouts, and a lot of our players sitting in the actual seats during the games. And so, you can never get all the way away from it. But when that pitcher is on the mound facing a batter, or vice versa, and someone's coming at you throwing 100 miles per hour, if you can't tune all that out and focus on the game, you're in a lot and so, I do think that's been happening, and you can certainly tell by the way the players are reacting, how much they care about it, and how important it is, and how intense it is out there. And so, I don't think we're missing out on that aspect of the game. Though of course we wish we could have fans there, and we appreciate all the work you and everyone else is doing to get us closer to that moment coming.
Yeah, no doubt. And when you mentioned the 100-mile-an-hour pitch, it just brought right back to mind that that first pitch that I threw out. I think it was
We had
somewhere
that
in the
clocked at
range of
97, almost
10
almost.
miles an hour to 100. I'm not sure. But here's another thing too, that I think is actually, I think it's just hilarious that now we have a new job in professional sports. The person that pushes that button where you hear the background noise, where you hear the fans screaming, and you hear the boos, and you hear so forth. So you have that person that's sitting there pushing those particular buttons to give the crowd effect. So that's a little bit of the ingenuity. So have there been any players that you feel have really stood out, that not that it wasn't expected, that but have really risen to the challenge here in the playoffs?
Well, if there's one player that I would say that about, it's Randy Arozarena, who is playing like the best player in Major League Baseball, and has been for a while now, certainly through the playoffs and going back to the end of the season. And he's new to the club this year, and has absolutely just been ripping the ball. And he's fast. He plays great defense, and he's really charged up the entire team. But I know a lot of you are out there watching, and we've seen Willie Adames and Joey Wendell making incredible defensive plays. Last night was Hunter Renfro's turn to do the same. Of course, Kiermaier robs a double just about every single game. And so it has been that team effort. Another name that just jumps off the mind is Manuel Margot, who, again, new to our club, but has really been an extraordinary contributor. And, who knows, we might still be playing the Yankees if Mike Brosseau hadn't taken a Aroldis Chapman deep on a 100-mile-per-hour pitch to close out Game 5. So I know you asked for one name. If I had to give you one, it would be Randy's, but couldn't be more proud of the entire group. And of course, our bullpen and pitching has been extraordinary, just shutting the door down on some incredible offenses. And, again, fingers crossed that we can just keep it all up, keep everybody contributing.
And there's no doubt about it, too. You never know. We there are some examples of teams that we won't mention that have put a lot of money out there to bring specific players in, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to gel as a team. You really don't know. You mentioned some of the players that you just brought in this year, and it just seems like everybody is playing so well together as a team, and standing up and doing what's needed at the right moment in the right games. And so it just couldn't be any more exciting, and it's so wonderful to see everybody coming together. So are the players, do you think that the players know how supported they are, and even though we're not able to sit in the seats and watch them, that they understand? Do they get to see the snippets from watch parties and things like that let them know how much we support them back home?
Yeah, of course they do. They know what the television and radio ratings have looked like. They know that people are tuning in and excited about it. You mentioned the Lightning earlier. There's been a lot of congratulating going back and forth between our two organizations and the players. And it's just a really exciting time for all of Tampa Bay. They recognize it. They know what they're doing. It is a significant challenge to be in that bubble, to be away from their loved ones, their friends, and their homes. But they're committed to doing it, I think, for all of us. So
Mhm.
it's really special. And you mentioned that, the Rays are a team, and our success is really that simple. I think some people struggle to figure out exactly how we do it, and it's because every single player is willing to do what is asked of them, and also understands when it's time for them to let someone else take a turn. And that type of support is unusual in professional sports. And when you're able to harness it and get everybody to buy into it, the results can be truly extraordinary. They all feel like something special is going on, and we're all just kind of riding it right now.
Yeah, that is. It's such an exciting time. And with these unusual times under this pandemic, you know, people at home can think about the safer at home. When you had to stay at home, and that really, it's easier said than done. And you think of the stress, the anxiety that may have placed on you when you were safer at home with your family, and now you think about the players that are away from their families, their loved ones, friends, neighbors, and it really is a sacrifice, and you don't know how that's going to play on someone's mental state and getting motivated for the game and so forth. But it doesn't say, I don't want to take a leap and say it hasn't affected the players, but they've come out and they've done what is needed to really step up and win these games and win them decisively. That's we had a couple of those. I told with the Lightning, I said, you guys got to stop with this overtime. It's I'm going to have a heart attack here one of these games. But it really is incredible to see the way that they've come together. And that may be some feedback too, when they finally do come home with that trophy, that, they may say that brought them closer together, being in that bubble and being around each other all of the time. So that's interesting. I had Alex Killorn and Victor Hedman on a show after they won the Stanley Cup. I think they thought there was another host or something. I'm sure that whatever they agreed to, they didn't think it was going to be my Facebook Live. But I thought that was it was a stand-up move for Alex Killorn. The first thing he did was put on a Rays jersey in support of the Rays. So I thought that was a great show of support. So very excited. I just it's so exciting. And then we just got, I don't know if you've heard, but every NCAA, and I hope I'm not busting out on anybody's, ahead of any news, but basically every NCAA final that we put in for, we received. Just got that information from Rob Higgins earlier. So it is an exciting time in Tampa Bay as far as sports are concerned, and from every other aspect as well. So how about let's just take a little bit of a segue here, and we talk about the Stanley Cup, the World Series, the Super Bowl, and then the Rowdies. The Rowdies are our hometown soccer team, and they're in the playoffs as well.
Yep, just beat Birmingham to advance to the next round, and finished at the top of our division, going for that USL championship. Hopefully, have a few more home games along the way, and that team is really coming together well too. The same thing, you've got a lot of players willing to subvert their own egos, play in whatever position Neil Collins asks them to play, and just do whatever it is the club needs. And sometimes different matchups call for different players being on the field. But regardless of who we put out there, we know we're getting 100% effort and that they're going to play together as a team. And it's been a blast to watch too. If you got some time on Saturday, go down to Al Lang and check them out.
And it is a lot of fun.
Very safe, socially distanced program there, but I do think some tickets are still available, and we encourage you to enjoy the experience because the Rowdies are playing just fantastic soccer right now too.
Yes,
no doubt. Really proud of them as well. It's incredible to have both these things going on at the same time, and of course, in the greater region on the back of that Stanley Cup championship and a pretty exciting Buccaneers team too.
I know. It's just such a wonderful time for us, and in our area, it's probably a well-known fact, we are not a sports mecca, haven't been in the past, but boy, I tell you, we are bringing it forward now, and this is going to be our future without a doubt. So very, very exciting stuff. So let's not say if, I have to say when, if superstition, you can say if.
Okay.
When we win this evening, who's your choice in the World Series? Who do you want to face?
I'm always partial to the LA Dodgers because Andrew Friedman runs that baseball operations department there, and I worked with him for close to a decade. He actually officiated my wedding, so I'll be
Oh, wow.
rooting for those guys right up until I can't do that anymore. But either way, the Braves and the Dodgers are both really good teams.
Mhm.
I would have no problem with that series going the distance, and then both coming into, if we win, a World Series event where they're a little worn out, and
Yeah.
so that's where we stand there. Again, we'll be thrilled no matter who we face, and the matchup is going to be a really challenging one regardless.
Yeah, that's it. And that's a recipe for some really good baseball. So that's exciting. That's what we're all looking for. Clearly, we want that trophy. So let's talk about Kevin Cash. Is he going to be the manager of the year?
I, I don't know how he hasn't been already. He's got my vote every year. They're putting shirts out right now that call him a stable genius for the way he's been managing the bullpen. Um, and you can't talk about a team the way that we're talking about the Rays if the leader isn't the way that Kevin is. And to get all these players to buy in, for every relief pitcher to understand that they need to be ready for any situation, for really established veteran hitters to know that they might just be a pinch hitter that particular evening and that they're happy to be that way and that they're going to keep supporting each other, is really a testament to his leadership. And so I certainly think he deserves it. They don't give me a vote, but I'd be surprised if he doesn't have a bunch of hardware at some point in his career.
Excellent. That's great. And we love the hometown,
Tampa's own, yeah.
our hometown hero. There's no doubt about that. Matter of fact, one of our facility management's daughters married his brother. So it is all hometown. And even if there is a tinge of bias in there for him, he definitely deserves that that accolade because he's done, the whole Rays organization has done an incredible job, through season after season after season. So we just couldn't be more excited. So let's talk just a little bit more about the bubble that everyone is in because everybody stayed safe with the hockey playoffs. Everybody seems to be safe with the baseball playoffs. We've seen some of the teams in football where there isn't any bubble, and then the college teams. I mean, we've had, and then you see the fans. Anything from uh, social distancing being practiced to football stadiums, college football stadiums where you couldn't fit a piece of paper between the fans. So I personally, you know how I feel, and I'm sure the way you feel as well with the social distancing. Um, do you feel that that really is a key to a successful playoff run in a sport? And I don't know if you can even answer that because I guess if you do say yes, then those that aren't going without the fans and putting their players in a bubble, that may be a negative commentary on them. But what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I was stipulating that I'm not a doctor. I think a lot of us have experienced with in our own lives, the what what it takes to be careful and how important it is. And that doesn't mean that even those who are being very careful don't occasionally
Yes.
get tripped up. And when we need to make sure that we come together and support one another and care for one another and are understanding that we're all doing the best that we can. But we also need to ask everybody to please do the best that you can. And we use the phrase "raise up, mask up." I know that you mentioned it already. That's
Mhm.
the key. Baseball started off not in a bubble. We played most of our home games at Tropicana, all of our home games at Tropicana Field
Mhm.
this year until the postseason. And once the postseason came around, we played that first series against the Blue Jays at home, and then we moved out to San Diego. And so you've seen that travel can be done, travel can be
Yes.
managed safely. It's just a little more complicated. It makes it a little more difficult. Baseball, part of the reason they put us in the bubble was that so we could play consecutive days
Yeah.
as we're trying to, jam more games in a shorter amount of time than we typically are, and so that eliminated the need for off days. But the overarching messaging I think is just please be thoughtful about it.
Mhm.
Again, you can't do anything to completely ensure that no one's ever going to be affected, and certainly our sport and others have had their hiccups here and there. But across the board, taking a thoughtful approach and being really careful and taking it seriously as our staff has done, as I know you're employing your citizens to do, makes a huge difference. And that's really as much as I can say about it. It seems pretty clear to me that we're all better off on the erring on the side of safety as opposed to risk. And I hope to encourage everybody out there to do the same.
No doubt about it. And since the Rays aren't playing in the uh, field at home, you guys have a lot of. We talked earlier about the Rays organization and how uh, interwoven you are in the community on a number of different. I can't tell you the number of times that I have called and asked for assistance with some community issue, and you are always right there. And so I can't tell you how appreciative I am of that. But let's just give a couple of examples of what is going on over on the field right now. You have the COVID-19 drive-through testing. You set that up over there. Food
Yep, we
bank,
have.
voting.
That's right. Yeah, we're doing everything we can at the Trop. You can drop your ballot off, you can drop food off, you can get coronavirus tested, you can do all three. We encourage you to do all three, and then pop over to the team store and get yourself some Rays postseason merchandise while you're at it. Where again, social distancing protocols and safety measures are in effect. There's a lot going on over there. We encourage everyone to know that that's a very easy place to get tested. It's a very easy place to drop off your ballot if you're a Pinellas County voter. And we're just really grateful for our partners in the hospital industry, the municipalities, everybody around who has learned how to ask and how we can help. And so it always makes us feel good. You mentioned our mission earlier, energizing the community through the magic of Rays baseball. Those home runs and wins are absolutely the best way that we can do that. That's getting everybody excited, and I hope giving everybody some really happy times in this very challenging time otherwise. But there's other things that we can do too, and we always appreciate the opportunity to contribute in those ways as well.
Mm-hmm. And just being socially responsible all the way around. You were the first one that gave me a call, to talk about voting and the polling sites, and how the majority of the volunteers and paid employees at the polling sites throughout the Tampa Bay area are elderly. And during this time of pandemic, some are rightly concerned about coming out to work the polls. And so you got together with the other sports franchises, and everyone has volunteered employees to go and work those polling sites, along with a number of corporations in our community. And I think that is just one more element that speaks to the incredible region that Tampa Bay is. We come together to celebrate. There's no doubt about that. And we've got a lot to celebrate these days and a lot more on the way. But we also come together when there's an issue, a challenge that needs to be met. And so, I want to thank you for that, bringing out your staff, making them available so that everyone has the right to exercise their right to go out and vote. And that's something that I know that you and your organization encourage, and clearly we here in the city of Tampa encourage as well. I don't know if there is a time in my life that it was more important to get out and vote. And no matter what your party is, no matter the affiliation, exercise your right to vote. It is incredibly important. So go ahead.
I just couldn't be more grateful to the supervisors of elections on both sides of the Bay, Supervisor Latimer and Supervisor Marcus, for spending lots of time on the phone with me, explaining that our election that we are prepared, that it's going to be free and fair, that we have any number of mechanisms to make sure that every vote gets counted. And so I know there's a lot of rhetoric out there calling some of that into question. We are incredibly fortunate in the Tampa Bay region to have very talented people overseeing those operations. The Team Tampa Bay effort that we did to round up poll worker volunteers was so successful that, in fact, there's now a waiting list of people who need to volunteer. So, yeah, we've rallied. We've done it well. We're going to answer the call. We're going to have a great election in which every vote gets counted. And we owe it to so many public servants, yourself included, of course, for making that a reality. And nothing's more important. We'll put Rays World Series right underneath the election coming up, and making sure that that goes off without a hitch.
Yes, without a doubt. And we're very fortunate here. We all know our history in voting here in Florida. And we are so fortunate to have the best supervisors of elections in the Tampa Bay area who get those votes in, that they're secure, they're safe, they're counted quickly and appropriately, and will be available election day. So we are blessed in this community to have that. We're looking forward to very safe and secure elections, but we just can't stress enough the need for everyone to vote. Everyone. It is critically important. So let's see. We have one social media question, and that is about the new stadium deal rumors. I guess there was a blogger that said that we were getting ready to break ground on the Rays Stadium here in Tampa Bay, to which my response was news to me. But you want to talk anything about that, Brian?
News to me also, and I feel like at least one of us would know about
something.
that. So, no, look, we continue working on it. We know it's an incredibly important part of our future. We remain very excited about our sister city idea and look forward to really engaging with the Tampa Bay region on that question once we get through this season and some of the more pressing concerns around the coronavirus that we're all dealing with right now. But we've had some great conversations with the folks up in Montreal, and I remain convinced that it's an outstanding pathway forward, that we're going to have some incredible business and cultural connections that we can fulfill along the way, and that it could be a new way to look at sports and what sports can add to two different communities. So we're excited about it. We're working on it, but let's state the obvious in that it's on the back burner right now. Plenty of stuff occupying our time.
All right, without a doubt. As you say, state the obvious. It's important, but there are a few issues that are a little more important right now. So but with that said, we are going to do everything we can to keep our hometown baseball team here in Tampa Bay. So very, very excited about that. Again, thank you so much, Brian, personally, for all you do for the Tampa Bay area. And thank you to the Rays organization for all that they're doing, not only for bringing us great sports and also just recognizing what that does to take our minds off of the pandemic and the economic situation and the division in our country. There's nothing that brings people together better than sports, and you're giving us some incredible championship play right now. So we thank you for that, but also for the social consciousness, the things that you're doing in our community to lift it up and to make it better. So we appreciate it very much.
That means the world to me and to all our several hundred employees that do spend our time trying to focus on that. And just want to encourage everyone, please enjoy it. Go ahead and stay up late tonight. We're working on moving those game times a little earlier. It wasn't our choice, just for the record. But this should be fun. It's a little weird. It's not the way it always is. We aren't able to all gather at Tropicana Field, but it is great and good. And we need you all to be a part of it. And send us your celebration shots. Get to us through Twitter. Get to us through Facebook. We want to share it all with everybody else. It's really something that we've got to work a little harder to make everything extra special, but it's well worth the effort.
All right. And so everybody in the Tampa Bay area, everybody watching this, you have Mayor Jane's permission to show up a little late to work tomorrow, okay? If you have to stay up late to watch the Rays tonight, then that's okay. Just send me a note and I'll write you a note so you can be a little bit late. I'm not sure that's worth anything at all, but what the heck, go ahead and try it, because it will be a phenomenal game this evening. There's no doubt about that. All right, well, we are going to close this evening with these reminders. Make sure that you fill out your census. Make sure that you vote. It is critically important. And remember to stay safe, stay calm, and above all else, be kind. Wear your masks and raise up. Thank you, Brian. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Thank you very much.